Hey y'all, I'm Emily and welcome back to Bama Based, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. Um, Today's another day where I get to prepare a meal for my family, so I ran home on my lunch break. Again, I'm just blessed to work not too far from my house. So I ran home and just opened up my deep freezer and pulled out a beef roast. And I want to do like a shredded beef and mashed potatoes with some gravy tonight. So I hope you join me and maybe you can make this for your family. So in the InstaPot, I'm going to put in about half an onion that I had already chopped up from last night's dinner. I want to get that used up before it makes my refrigerator start smelling. And then I want to, of course, add the roast. And this is completely frozen. That's one of the neat things about the InstaPot. Your meat doesn't have to be thawed, so definitely comes in handy. So next, I want to add about 3 big old spoonful of just chopped garlic. This is the minced garlic in water that we picked up from Sam's. Also want to add about half a stick of butter. And then this is just beef broth that I made last night. I just took one of my quart-sized jars and used the Better Than beef bouillon and just watered it down. So I'm going to dump that in there. If I can get the lid off. And of course I made a mess all over the counter. Then just for more depth of flavor, I'm going to add another good heaping spoonful of the Better Than bouillon. And then this is my homemade hot sauce. This is very potent, so I'm only going to add just a very small splash. If I add too much, my husband won't think it's edible, so take it easy on the hot sauce. And this was made with serranos, jalapenos, just all the hot peppers that I grew last year. So I'm going to give this a quick stir with the whisk. I'm going to get the lid on it. And I am going to just get this, what is it called? Just on slow cook until we get home. And then I'll put the InstaPot under pressure just to make sure the pork roast is nice and tender. But right now I just want it to start the cooking process nice and slow. So slow cook button is pressed and I'm gonna hit start for 4 hours. There we go. Alrighty, so when I get home from work, I will bring you back and show you what I do next. Hey y'all, so I'm back home from work and I want to finish off dinner tonight. So the pork roast has just been in the InstaPot since my lunchtime, roughly about 4 hours. But I want to make sure that the roast is tender. So I'm going to stop the slow cook and then change it over to pressure cook for roughly 10 minutes. All right, so the Instapot's going to come up to pressure, and I'm going to get started on the potatoes. All right, y'all, so I'm just going to start peeling up these potatoes. Nothing too difficult about it. One of the main things that I love about the Instapot is it does 90% of the work for you. So all I'm doing right now is just peeling the potatoes, and then I'm dipping them in a bowl of water just to get any remaining dirt off the potato, and then I'll chop it up. I'm listening to the Instapot, and it looks like the release valve just closed. So it's going to start coming up to pressure. All right, so the potato peels I'll take outside to my compost bin. All right. Now I'm just going to give these a rough chop. All right, so I'm going to season the potato water with just some salt. All right, so this is going to come up to boil. It'll take roughly 15 minutes or so, and then we can mash them and season them and make them so delicious. I'll bring y'all back when the pork roast is finished. Alrighty, y'all, so I'm back. The Instapot has finished pressure cooking. So I am going to just turn it off and then let it slowly come down to normal pressure. And now I'm going to check the potatoes. They are finished. So I'm going to get that off the heat. And then I'm going to do a quick release vent. There we go. And I'm going to dump the potatoes out. Alrighty, so in this bowl, since the potatoes are still pretty hot, I'm just going to put half a stick of butter and let that start melting. All right, so this has come down to normal pressure. I can now safely remove the lid. Looks really good. I'm going to get a plate and let the meat rest. And it is tender. All right, so while the meat is resting, I want to work on the gravy. So it's still pretty liquidy, for lack of a better word. Let me bring you in closer. Yeah, it's just liquid, so I need to thicken it up. And I buy um, my brown gravy mix in bulk from Sam's, and I just put it in a glass jar. So I'm just going to do a couple spoonfuls into the liquid that's inside the InstaPot and make a gravy. I'm going to keep stirring this until it thickens. All right, it's getting close, but I'm going to add another 4 heaping spoonfuls of the brown gravy mix. All right, that is slowly getting thick. So I'm going to push this back and let it finish doing its thing. Let's finish the mashed potatoes. Alrighty, so the potatoes are still pretty warm. I just have a potato masher. The butter is still melting, so I'm just going to mash them up, get it all incorporated. All right, so now I'm going to use some heavy whipping cream. That was probably a quarter of a cup. Just a sprinkle of garlic salt. Another little sprinkle of black pepper. Just a little bit of regular salt. And this is my secret ingredient. It's the Hidden Valley Ranch dry seasoning mix. Oop. I buy it in bulk, so it's a little clumpy. And at this point, I give it a little taste. Mm-hmm. Now, I know it's a little weird, but my husband doesn't like sour cream, so I like to give our mashed potatoes a little tang. So I use mayonnaise. Now, I'm very picky about my mayonnaise. It either has to be the Duke's mayonnaise or the Bama brand, Bama mayonnaise. Anything else? No. So, but Duke's is my go-to right now. My husband definitely knows better. He better not go to the store for me and come home with a different brand of mayonnaise. So I'm going to do about two big old dollops. We'll start off with that. And get it all back mixed in. I'm going to give it another taste. Perfect. So these potatoes are still pretty thick, but I want them thick so it can hold up the gravy in the roast. So yummy. Alrighty, so I'm going to set this aside, clean up my mess real quick. And now I want to shred the roast. This looks perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead and plate up the hubby's dinner. Alrighty, y'all. So I'm gonna go give this to the hubby, and this is just beef roast with mashed potatoes and gravy. Thank y'all for joining me as I made dinner for the hubby. It's just me and him tonight, so we're gonna just relax for the rest of the evening and watch some TV and yeah, enjoy a yummy, delicious meal. Thank you for joining me tonight, and as always, I hope you'll have a good one. Again, Emily from Bama Based, where I find peace in my garden, enjoy my kitchen. Bye, y'all.